NERDSoul.
Yeah, that's right. We're here, NERDSoul, and
the internet's Mark B. Donica. Hi, everyone.
We just saw Wreck-It Ralph. Ralph Breaks the Internet. Right now, this is spoiler-free. We're not going to say it. We'll get into spoilers later, but you are completely safe right now, and we'll let you know when you're not safe. But initial thoughts.
I adored this movie. Now, it's hard for me as somebody who's a huge Disney file, somebody that has a theme parks podcast where we primarily talk about the Disney parks, and I love.
What's the name of that podcast?
It's called Party of Two.
You
can go
maybe
Party
you
of
check it
Two.
out.
You can go to Google Play, iTunes Podcast, SoundCloud, YouTube. Check out it all there. It's my wife and I. We're starting with the podcast and we're getting into more stuff. But ultimately, being a big Disney file, it's hard to not really enjoy this movie, but also being a child of the internet, it's hard to not enjoy this movie. Now, with what the internet is, it's hard to stay super current.
Yeah.
So some of the references in the movie are, quote, dated.
Yeah.
But I would say the ones that they did pick are classics, which is a really weird way to put it. Classic internet references, memes, things of that nature. A lot of solid references. For me personally, I loved Wreck-It Ralph, the first one, so much because it was a love letter to gaming.
Yeah.
And me being a gamer, I absolutely adored everything in it. And now I wish that they had stayed in gaming a little bit, but this going to the internet serviced the story in a way that I don't think staying in Litwax could have. All of the new characters are fantastic. The voice cast is remarkable. Surprisingly, there's a lot of like 1930s and 40s vernacular that they use in this, which is really bizarre for a movie that's supposed to be about the internet.
Yeah.
But I adored it. I loved it. I'm probably not the best person to ask. This movie could have been really bad, and I probably would have told you it would have been really good. But I adore it. I truly do.
This is another one of those examples of Disney making something that really does work for all ages. Like, this is something that you can take, like, say if your kid's 4 or 5 or something like that, or if your kid's 10 or 11, or if you're just an adult that's like, yo, I like Wreck-It Ralph, you can all have discussions about what goes on in here, and it's just relatable. They find a way to give characters motivations and give characters like attitudes and charisma and characteristics that we've seen. We know, your aunt's like this, or your friends like this, or your mom, or whoever, or even you've done this or something like that. And it makes it relatable in such a fun way. Because there are animated movies that are chores, but this one is not. It's fun. And it's funny, and then you're like, hold up, whoa.
Is this a tear? Am I crying?
Am I learning a message about life?
Am I understanding what it means to properly express myself emotionally to people that are very important in my life, to allow myself some sort of clarity?
Oh,
no.
Boy.
No, you definitely 100%.
Yeah, this movie just does it. It does it well, and from all aspects, especially like the animation.
The animation is gorgeous. Every like the internet characters, or like the internet avatars, I would say, that sort of represent people on the internet, have their own specific type of animation that is close to but different to the denizens of Ralph's game, Fix It Felix, and that those characters maintain their animation that they had from the original movie, but it's all different.
Yeah, and the way they look, it's just enough to let you know you're somewhere else, or they don't fit, or these people are new, or whatever. Yeah, like this is a newer game than.
And even goodness, my favorite design of a new character is Taraji P. Henson's character. Is remarkable. Every time you see her, she has a different hairstyle,
different clothes.
The first time you meet her, she's wearing a fiber optic. It looks like a fur coat, but it's fiber optic, so it starts to glow when she starts getting interested in something. I love it all. Even the designs of the individual websites.
Yeah,
like there's a time when they go to Pinterest, and I noticed all of the hanging lights are like pinheads with light coming out of them, and I went, oh, some people are going to pick that up real easy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really, really good design in here, and
very good
animation quality, top notch. There's a oh my goodness. When we get into spoiler territory, there's some stuff that is remarkable.
Yeah. Of course, you've seen the stuff from the trailer. So you have the princesses, you have Vanellope, you have Ralph. But I feel like Ralph and Vanellope get a lot of time in this sequel, because a lot of times sequels get, well, they call it sequelitis, where it's just like, hey, let's go big, let's go bad, and let's, like, do everything. But they give time to the actual characters that we know and love. So they give them a chance to, to grow, to talk to each other, to have scenes, to, actually see them do things instead of
to not
showing spectacle.
To not talk to each other.
True.
Which is a very important part of this movie. Is as people change and as lives change, it's important to talk to the people that are most important in your life in order for that emotional clarity to take hold. And that was one of the major one of the major points of this movie that I absolutely adored, because it's something that everybody needs to take note of. It's something that everybody needs to put a pin in. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. They did visual metaphor. That's just wonderful. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Visual metaphors.
Specifically putting a pin in it. Yeah. Like, all right. But yeah, like what Michael said.
We're not spoiling yet.
No. I already said that Pinterest is in the movie.
Yeah,
blah blah blah. Silly
and I think Pinterest's logo is in the movie, because I remember.
No, right as they were entering, you could see it. Yeah. So it wasn't like a fake Pinterest. Yeah, it was just
the
Pinterest.
real, like, and and everybody's real. Like, so you have like real Google and real, so they don't try to search place. Yeah. With colors.
Well, they did with the character in the trailer that has like the autofill.
Yeah.
That's played by Alan Tudyk. They did. There is that. There's a couple of things where, in order to play in the space, they couldn't be beholden. Yeah, they had to make their own. Yeah. But ultimately, like what Michael said, this is a character piece, which you rarely get with something like this. That
sneaks up on you.
Yes. Yeah. Very much so, because. In the release for this movie, you see the logos everywhere. You see the princesses everywhere. Oh, they feature Disney in it. Yeah. This is going to be a big commercial. This is just a huge commercial, and they found a way.
The commercial, but they find a way to be like, okay, commercial time's over. Now, don't forget that these are characters you love, and we're going to give you your time with them. And we're not just going to be Disney. We're going to actually give you your characters.
And they utilize it in a way that gives those characters, like the princesses and some of the other Disney characters that they show in it, you get sort of like a catharsis with them that you can't get in their movies, because they're beholden to that story.
True.
So it's a little fan servicey in the best possible way.
Yeah,
because they flex their brand intelligently, and that's something that the writers should be commended for.
Yeah, they're able to be playful, be irreverent, without being particularly disrespectful to the brand or anything like that. So it's a lot of fun. This is something that I definitely think is a great follow-up to the first one. I think this works. Like, you could watch them back to back if you wanted. They work very well.
6 years. Like, they time check it at the beginning. It's like, we've been doing this thing for 6 years. It's 2012. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
still.
It's like, man, that long?
I can't believe it. 100% believe that it's been 6 years.
Yeah,
I check back into Wreck-It Ralph fairly frequently. Because
I've seen it twice since it came out. And it's cute, it's fun, and it's warm. It's like, it's got this.
This is a good holiday movie. This is a good holiday movie without it being a holiday movie. You get to take your family to this, and everybody can get something from it.
Yeah, and this is something that if you are the type of family where, say, you watch a TV show and you have like discussions about it, this is something that you can definitely have discussions, especially surrounding the internet, between yourself, your spouse, your kids, your little cousins, whatever, and actually go deeper if you want. So, your rating. What's your rating?
I mean, what's our range?
5 stars.
5. I'm very biased, but
he's a Disney man.
Not just a Disney man, but a Wreck-It Ralph man.
Yeah.
And it's somebody that I identify with really as a character a lot, and especially in this movie, without going into spoiler territory, which we will in a moment here.
Yeah.
But I got a rated 5 out of 5. I will marathon this movie. Or the 2 movies together, just because
they work. They really do.
But like, even more so for me, since I do see a lot of myself in Ralph, going from okay. I'll talk more in spoiler time. I'll talk more in spoiler time, but I give this a 100% of 5.
I have to agree. Like, yo, I know you'll probably be like, well, you did Incredibles, and then this movie really works. This movie rides a line of being fun, giving you some weight. Also, being Disney, being like, hey, look, we got all this stuff here. And it's able to give you all that, but then be like, well, hey, this is still a movie. It's solid, especially if you love animated content like Disney, because of course animation varies, greatly. Mm-hmm. But if you love Disney content, this is a 5. At the very least, it would probably be a 4 for you. Like, it's good. It's a great follow-up. It's a lot of fun, a lot of funny jokes. There's some you expect, some that you don't.
It's also tight. Yeah, because they establish early on that there's a time frame for them to accomplish the goal, so that keeps them moving, and then as you hit various checkpoints with it,
there's not a lot of bloat on.
I was going to say it's tight. It's super tight, and anytime you finish with a particular idea. So even if you haven't seen too many of the trailers, there's an idea that's presented in one of the later ones, and that's the first thing they go to. But when you finish that, they're like, oh, we only have this much time left. Yeah. Oh, we got to get moving. Oh, we got to do this. We got to do that. Yeah. And so they ratchet up just how important it is that they need to get this thing done on time. Yeah, and get on and get out and everything. But that is our review. We hope you enjoyed it. We are now getting into spoiler territory for the next whatever until the end of the video. You have been warned. We are going to spoil things now, so it's spoiler time. Be prepared. So we are spoiling things in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. So look, just stop the video, come back after you see it, but you've been warned. I thought that the Star Wars references were great. Yeah. Well, who better to be security than the Stormtroopers? A little bit of R2 here. We have Anthony Daniels being the page, C-3PO being the page to the princesses, and everybody. I'm a little sad. Everybody was kind of hoping that maybe Leia would be somewhere because it was a princess thing, but it's something that I only just remembered. People going, "Oh, Disney princess is Leia's technically a Disney princess. Yeah. This is the time to do that." I think it was smart. I think everything that they did made sense, and now anything that they didn't do is extra, is fluff. Not to say that it wouldn't have been enjoyed, but it specifically being the Disney princesses made sense, especially for the end of the movie when they came to the rescue. Like, not to say that Leia wouldn't have been able to offer any help, but now you go, well, what Leia do we get? Do we get the young Leia, or do we get Commander? Do we get General? Like, what? So it. Because I assume they probably would have went with young Leia, but then it was like, well, why don't we get that? But then but then Carrie passes away, so you can't get her to voice, and all of the princesses' original voices are back. Yeah, so like the attention to detail, is huge in this. The hair flip, like Ariel's hair. Well, not even because she was like out of the water. But my favorite thing is the fact that Pocahontas' hair is always flowing in the wind. It's always flowing in the wind. Beautiful. Yo. Just the little subtle touches. Straight up, Pocahontas still fine, too, on the sneak tip. I was like, what? They had Tiana bring Naveen out to kiss Ralph back away. Which I was like, hold up, isn't he human now? But I was just like, well, I guess we'll let it slide. We'll let it slide. It's the internet. Both versions exist.
Ah, you're right.
And that's one of my favorite. Okay, so the fact that they gave us 24 hours. We have 24 hours to find this thing. Made it really refined, and so they didn't give the characters the opportunity to explore and possibly find like Bugs Bunny or Richie Rich. I don't know why I want Richie Rich, but
Richie Rich is.
Or Flintstones, whatever.
You know what? Richie Rich could have solved their problems
instantly.
They're like, oh yeah, I got this. You know,
but
$20,000, this is nothing.
But so the fact that this whole movie is they physicalized the glitch more with Vanellope being anxiety based, as opposed to just being something random with code that happens. It's and turning a negative trait into a positive one. But so once I started picking up on that, I was like, okay, they're going to use that once they introduce the virus to it, and it's like, oh, we're going to find inconsistencies. Well, it's going to be Vanellope. Like, even without her glitching, she's not a part of the code of Slaughter Race. And I was like, oh, this is very bad. And they made, I thought that was going to be a bigger threat, the virus itself, because it looked terrifying.
It definitely looked terrifying. You know what else looked terrifying?
Alfred Molina's character?
Quado.
Thank you for your assistance. Oh man, like those
neck face. I mean, excuse me. That was weird. That was weird.
It was weird, but the fact they went, I was like,
it's like, how do you expect me not to look at that, man?
So there's so many great references in the movie. They land at the bottom. I don't know if you saw it when Vanellope threw the cookie over and he went to get the medal. He moved GeoCities to the side. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
He like, welcome to geocities.com, and he threw it to the side, and there he saw the thing. There's so many tiny little internet jokes like that were amazing. The fact that we got the fact that we actually got a voice, like Sonic as a character, even though it was 2 lines, was great, because I was a little disappointed in he just sort of being on the wall in the first movie, but that was amazing. We still get with Felix and Calhoun. I have a very strong feeling, because Disney does this a lot, where they show you something and then they show you the end of it, and then they're like, hey, with the DVD we've got a brand new short coming out. So I have a feeling with the Blu-ray we're gonna get Calhoun and Felix with all of the kids from Sugar Rush.
That'd be fun.
Because that was incredible.
This is how you become a perfect family.
Yeah.
Like, vroom, vroom.
Every parent needs to hear that.
Oh man. And then just to comment on Felix and everything, that is a weird pair. But
Felix and Calhoun?
But you know what though? She didn't marry him for it. Look, he do more than
Listen,
I'm just saying.
He's
little, but he's strong.
He's got character. He's got character. He's got a big heart.
He's got a big heart.
Big heart.
The references come fast, like back with the stormtroopers when he goes off with the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah. Oh God, that was so good. I can't, like, they fit references to another movie into them. Like, it's
like they're gonna make sure you get yours. And then of course with the Disney princesses, we're like, oh yeah, you just look in the water, man. You just start singing. It's gonna fix everything.
But them listing them off is like ocean, horse trough. Like, it's like, I guess they do. It's just water. Why is it water?
It's like water is like, you gotta look at yourself and be like
Mulan's song is literally about her looking into water. When will my reflection show who I am inside?
Yeah, it's true. Like, all those, and then another thing about this is it's almost like it's a big promotion for all of their, like, go back and get the 10th anniversary Mulan or whoever, and
go to ohmydisney.com.
Yeah, it's like it's so right. Like, the way they do it is so right. Because it could have been cheesy, but it wasn't.
They create the thing that, we're going to the internet. They know they can't not just put them in a box and send them to some little thing. What do we do? What can we flex? Well, we have so many brands that they flex Marvel a little bit. They flex Star Wars a little bit. They flex themselves, Disney, a lot. Vanellope is technically a Disney princess.
Yes.
Unconventional. and they flexed that a lot. Even though Vanellope got a song, which
and
is
the
something
cool clothes
that
like they're hanging out.
Yeah, and you know what the smartest thing about that? They're selling them. You can buy every piece of those princesses' clothes
Disney
right
is,
now.
Disney
So smart. That's the thing. Ultimately, because you can't. I know. I live with a Disney fanatic, me being one myself, and who saw that trailer and went, "Oh, I want that shirt. I want those pants. I want."
And Disney
dang it!
And Disney said, "Oh, you can have these."
Oh, that was part of the marketing the entire time.
Yeah, they know what's up, man. Disney knows what's up.
This is a smart movie, but I would be more bothered by it if it wasn't good. If like 100%. If the jokes didn't land, if it wasn't about Ralph and Vanellope and putting their characters in the forefront, this movie wouldn't have worked.
Towards each other, because their feelings are very natural, real feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you know, Vanellope's like, look, I have a great time with you. I love you, but my heart's not in this. Mm-hmm. You know, not that it's not in you, it's just not in this, and I gotta move on. Even though Ralph's like, yo, I love it here, man.
Ralph's
I love it here. This is home.
Ralph's from a different time. Like their games are from a different time.
Yep.
So like last time you saw them become best friends, but so what I was gonna say earlier was these movies are an emotional evolution and that sort of mirror my own, in that it's like, hey, we're kids, we're playing games and everything's great and everything's the best. And now years later, their relationship has changed from a best friends to like a father-daughter.
Yeah,
and
right,
the thing that cemented that home for me was at the very end when they're waving goodbye. It's Vanellope's first day of school.
Yeah,
so
you're right. It really has morphed into a more father-daughter, because he's like, you know, be safe. You know,
I know what's best for you.
I know what's best. Yeah, so it's definitely morphed into that, and friendships do morph and change, and it's like it's so relatable because, you know, Ralph isn't essentially trying to hurt Vanellope, but he's just like, there is a part of us that's like, well, I want what we had. Not that I'm selfish, but I just want this feeling like what we're doing is great. And I mean, there might be something like, you know, you might be like, oh man, well, you know, 8th grade, it was just so great. You know, I wish I had that feeling back. And then some people take that, you know, that kind of like feeling that they want so bad to bad places because of, you know, a lapse in judgment or whatever. It's like, because he's like, look, I just want to slow the game down, then she'll hate the game, then she'll come and we'll hang out together and we'll chill. So he's like, he's not even particularly wanting to hurt anybody. Just like, look, if we can make the game slow, she's a racer, she don't like slow stuff, then we'll kick it. And of course, but it goes to another level. And
then here's where a lot of the deep stuff comes in, is they clearly show Vanellope's what's the word, insecurities, and then they start to go into Ralph's insecurities, and you don't see it until, well, you see it the whole time. But what I'm trying to say is, back in the first movie, Ralph's just concerned because he is designed to wreck everything, because that's in his code. And over these past 6 years, he's gotten to a point where that doesn't enter his mind anymore. He's comfortable enough with himself to be able to be like, no, I can solve problems. I can do this.
Fix things.
Yeah, I can going against what he's programmed for in order to make something better. And that's one of the small, deep changes that we didn't get to see progress because it's been 6 years. But one of the ones that we got to see on screen, to where now it's a completely different sort of emotional inconsistency that he has. Yeah,
because now he's so tied into keeping his relationship with her perfect. You know, even when he kind of goes and wrecks her game, because he's like, okay, yes, I wreck things, but I can wreck the right kind of, like, if you take the Hulk and point him in a direction,
it's the right stuff to wreck. But because we've all been in situations where we're like, oh, I'm in complete control of this situation. Here is something that will specifically wreck one thing
and nothing else,
and everything will be fine. Look, I know that. He told me, I'm not going to mess anything up.
I'm not going to mess. I just want to slow down the game.
Let me just bust this wall down real quick so anything can get out. And oh no, I broke the internet.
Yeah. And it's like, oh,
I did not expect us to go.
I did not think that was going to happen.
I also did not expect us to go full King Kong.
Yeah.
And get a whole bunch of Ralphs running around, terrifyingly looking for Vanellope, and then form a giant Ralph monster that is animated
and weird and
terrifyingly.
Yeah.
To where they all become a hive mind. But if you look, like, one of my favorite things to do, there's a similar thing that happens on the Minion Mayhem ride at Universal, where a bunch of minions form like an arm to cross a bridge. But if you look at them, there's a couple that are just like straight chilling. But but on this, like, all of the Ralphs are trying to maintain their grip.
They're all they're kind of grabbing each other. It's
creepy. It's creepy. So, like, if you can listen and pay attention to the movie and watch the Ralphs, you'll see a lot of like, oh, this is gross but amazing from an animation standpoint. Oh, I'm terrified.
It's like, it's cool from an animation standpoint, but then this is also weird.
So what I was talking about earlier, so Ralph grabs the giant pin, and there's the metaphor there is, hey, we're not going to talk about it. I'm going to put a pin in it. We're going to put a pin in this, and we're going to talk about it later. And then, but you can't. So they had to talk about it before literally everything wrong was about to happen.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of kind of our lives at times where it's like, you know, look, you might want to be like, look, let me push through this. We'll talk about it later. Sometimes you have to deal with it now before you move forward. And this, especially someone who moved, I've moved to LA. I'm from Virginia, you guys know that. And when I moved, I had a similar thing where people were like, oh, well, you're Hollywood now. You're not cool with us. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, you know, when you come back, it won't be the same. And it's, you know, I lost a lot of friends because sometimes when you move, you know, that distance does create friction, or you find out about other people. And this, creating that distance, you found out that Ralph was holding on too hard to where he was depending on their relationship more than he should have. And then on Vanellope's side, where she struggled with, you know, because when the statement of, you know, it's not enough, like your friendship not being enough, not realizing that, you know, she kind of is hurting him without being,
she's hurting him by not, like, hurting. They've created an environment for each other to where it's too toxic to I say toxic, but it's too, they're spending too much time with each other and not spending enough time with other people to get more of an emotion, because you can't. Because if you're the only person that I talk to, there might be some things that you may not be able to counsel me on. That's like, you may not be the right person emotionally to talk to me about a certain thing. I can get other perspectives from other people. So by isolating yourself with one person, that's super, as we visualized. It's super dangerous.
It's dangerous. It could be very dangerous, and that's why she was able to open up with Shank. She was able
Gal
to open
Gadot's
up
character.
Gal Gadot.
Amazing.
Yeah, very cool. And very funny how they beat those users. And I love the way the users move. The way they move. So real. Perfect.
So real. Like the weird little drag and oh god, it was so good. Just those little immersion things go, this is a real place.
Like when she jumped out the car, it was just like
and then she landed, the pixel ended, and then went back to a standing animation. It's like, ooh, just tiny little things,
small things that are just perfect, that go together well. But yeah, having someone that you can sit and talk to, like what she can talk to with Shank, she can't talk to, you know, with Ralph about, or maybe vice versa. But you know, when you spend that much time together, and of course when it starts to become more of a father-daughter relationship, it's more like, I know best for you. And being a new father myself, I know there's probably going to be that time when it's like, I'm right, and I won't front. As a grown man now, there's times when I've called my dad literally and been like, Yeah, you were right. I thought I knew everything when I was 16, and you were right. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, because it's the perspective that they don't get.
Yeah, but you do have to give them time to go out and screw up, and then or live on their own, and then be like, oh, yeah. So it's
and you end up both learning stuff.
Yeah, she has to learn. She has to, whether it's learning good or learning bad.
Yeah,
she has to have that experience outside of him, and it is hurtful because of and you see that both of them have this longing for each other, but in general they're both where they need to be. Yeah, at least for this point of their lives, and that it's stuff like that it's like, wow. So you got that in a kids movie,
which you never expect, and something that I would recommend for you because we were talking about all the princesses earlier, and you mentioned that you hadn't seen the first Frozen.
Yeah, I haven't seen Frozen.
Frozen has one of the best sibling relationships in a movie, and explains that type of love on screen in a way that you don't usually get, and especially Disney doesn't get. And they changed a lot.
Usually it's about one kid.
So the sibling relationship, what legacy means, like compared to their parents, and then also it flips the script on what a traditional Disney love story is. Like, I'm not saying rush out, but it's snowy season. It's also like a really tight, like 80-85 minutes, something like that. So it's similarly to what Disney did with Ralph, where they broke their traditional conventions of what they do for animated movies and started to go the Pixar route a little bit more in terms of, well, it's not just this one type of relationship that we can look into. It's these various types of relationships. And this continues and evolves what these two do, and it leaves us in a place where, as much as I'm a fan of the franchise, I always want to see more Ralph. I always want to see more Vanellope, but they left it at a really good place.
Yeah, this is a very good ending point.
If this is the end, what a wonderful end that they got. Because I was half expecting, honestly, to the natural next step for me story-wise is here was this time when, for some reason, 80s video game character Wreck-It Ralph came back and was super popular across these various websites. So me thinking of it as like an actual user. So Ralph's popular across all these websites. True. There was this weird bug that took down the internet for like an hour or so, which in the grand scheme of things isn't crazy, but also isn't that bad, and people would forget about it and go, and they would think, oh, maybe this is an ARG, and they would go back and they would watch all of the little Ralph videos and pop-ups and here and there, which to me would bring a resurgence of the brand.
A reboot of the game.
Somebody would want to buy that and make a new Wreck-It Ralph. So if there is a Wreck-It Ralph 3, that's what I would see. And what
so what, like the evil twin route maybe?
No, not
or
even.
Maybe like the better twin route.
Something where there aren't enough Wreck-It Ralph machines in the world. There's one here at this arcade. So they take the specific Wreck-It Ralph machine that our Ralph is in and take that data, upload it, and make something new with it. So it's still our Ralph.
So it's still our Ralph, but he's new and improved now.
And something like that. They take that data. His life
at a new, so almost kind of like a midlife crisis kind of situation. You know what?
Something like that.
I'm not mad at that.
Because then if you modernize that game and in game sense, this doesn't necessarily make sense. Why would you just copy and paste that data, make new data? But they take that and they upload all of the stuff to the internet. Ralph sort of gets a brand resurgence, but as a result, he gets to see Vanellope again, blah, 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 blah. But that's how I would see it working. But the way that they ended it, like he's on good terms with more than just the bad guys. Because Wreck-It Ralph 1, you left with, okay, all of the people in his game, they all sort of understand everybody's role, but now it's the entire arcade has come together and become this community where,
and it's great. It's like this great home that, it's kind of like when you move away from home, and that's something else that other people can relate to, which is it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I absolutely.
This movie is good.
I can't. Oh, and we didn't even talk about Spamwell, like what,
the ad blocker.
Yeah,
that was the illest.
Yeah.
He was like,
the way
that was
that
messed up.
the way that they visualize,
that was
and
hilarious.
characterize stuff. The little eBay messenger boy from the 1920s.
Yeah, he was like, hey, don't forget.
Message from Mr. Ralph. Like, it's such, and lickety split. Like, such ridiculous terminology that you just don't hear and people don't say.
Matter of fact, speaking of that, eBay got mad love in this movie on a sneak.
I mean, kind of. They also made fun of people.
Well, yeah, it's true, yeah.
Yeah, there was, I mean, you don't want to go, they could have gone deeper.
Yeah.
But they talked about the toxicity. Ralph specifically walks into the comment section and sees hatred. It's not, and it's a Disney movie, so it can't be as bad as stuff can get. But
because things can get bad,
really bad.
You guys know this is on YouTube right now. You know how it can get.
And this is where we do the flash up thing, where you see the page and people going, "I hate this, I hate you." Blah, blah, blah. But they acknowledge that. They acknowledged the dark web, at least a little bit, and people going, "Oh, they made up something called the dark net for this movie." No, they didn't. No. Don't do it. Don't go.
Don't search for the dark web. Leave it alone.
Oh, and I forgot his name, but Spamwell's little helper friend.
Oh, Gore.
What an amazing design. Like, because just hands the one to Vanellope and then creepy stretch arm up to Ralph. That's one of my those.
Because it's like the joke is still going. The joke is still going, and like you're just like.
Got it. Like those tiny little moments, like, and we got three. We got a comedic rule of threes. It was the first call of Gore, the second call of Gore, and then the third one in the dark web.
Yeah.
And I was just, that's perfect.
And he's always right there.
Oh, so good. Oh my God.
How did you get here?
Possibly my favorite new character in the movie.
Gore is funny.
No. Yes is amazing.
Yeah.
Shank was really good.
Yeah.
Shank's crew was pretty dang funny.
You still have value.
Yeah, you still have value. but even better. So I was watching this TED Talk. I don't remember what was said, but what I pulled from it, what I felt was,
yo, it is funny. You probably know someone at your office, at your class, your family member. It's like, I was watching this TED Talk. Oh, cool. It's like, I don't know what it was about.
I don't remember what it was about, but more importantly,
but how I felt.
I felt so good.
It's like, but didn't you need to understand what you were hearing to actually feel something? Or is it just because TED Talks are popular and you want to feel important? I'll leave that alone.
There were two. I was sad because there were two moments in the trailer that weren't in the movie. Mm-hmm. One was added afterwards, and they made a comment about it. Yeah. Which was pretty dang funny. But they also there is a scene from the trailer where Yes specifically brings up like the title Ralph Breaks the Internet. It's like, should I wreck the internet? That's kind of what I do. Yeah, but break the internet, that's a thing.
That's a thing.
So there was more to that scene that they ended up cutting. Yeah. But ultimately Ralph broke the internet.
Yeah, he
did it.
He literally did.
I want to see this movie again.
And I love the last pancake. He's like
that disgusting, amazing.
It was like,
and you just saw the syrup just like kind of a little bit, and it was glowing in the light.
It's like, yeah. And the cat was just like,
yo, I better get one of them shakes real quick. It's been a minute since I got one of them shakes. But even more so, like, no. Cat gets the milkshake. The bunny gets the pancakes.
He's like, bunny.
It's like, this is the part of the game.
Yo, man. That was funny. That was funny because they addressed that so well. It was so meta in the way they addressed it.
Mommy, I'm a little upset. There was a scene in the trailer that wasn't in the movie. Well, play your game. Anyway.
Oh man. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, dude. Disney is so aware of, like,
people are going to complain about this.
Yeah,
people are going to complain about it. Why wasn't Baby Moana playing that game?
Yeah, it's like, now we know. But
yeah, this such a good movie.
It's great, yeah.
It left me feeling real good and emotionally centered.
Yeah.
Like this, you'll probably want to call a couple of people after this movie.
I feel like they consulted with some therapists and stuff when they wrote this. Like, how can we make people leave and say, you know what, I need to fix this relationship. Maybe I'm a little too clingy.
I'm gonna call one of my friends.
Or maybe one of my friends needs a little more support. Maybe I should
yeah. There was that one time I saw a message where somebody's like, hey, somebody call me. And I was like, I'll call them later. Call them now.
Call them now.
Yeah, call now. I can't. I'm
good.
super biased. And I will 100% admit that I'm very biased.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking directly to the emotion of the movie.
Yeah.
And that what a solid foundation of... yes, we have a really good relationship, but sometimes you have to focus on yourself.
Yeah.
It talks about it's self-care and how important it is to talk to people. It's wonderful. What a wonderful message
setting
to put
boundaries.
out there.
It's good. So, guys, that's how we feel. Before we bounce, where can the wonderful people find the internet's Mark B. Donica?
Well, you can find me anywhere at Mark B. Donica. Also, if you're a fan of Disney, Universal, roller coaster, theme parks, Six Flags, make sure to check out my podcast, Party of Two Pod. That is Party of Two Pod. If you listen to early episodes, you might hear your boy. But it's my wife and I. We talk about things past, present, future, and we've postulated about the new Marvel stuff. We recreate rides that don't exist that we really want all of a sudden. Like we talked about a Beetlejuice ride, how a Beetlejuice ride could be the only thing that could possibly replace E.T. because E.T. is, oh boy, it's in bad condition and it's been a minute, but it's not going down anytime soon, which might be a problem. E.T. could use some help. But yeah, Mark B. Donica anywhere, Party of Two Pod, and hopefully doing more stuff with this mate because it's been far too long.
Way too long.
And
if you're watching, Alexis, soon we're gonna make it work. Soon. We know you need time, just like this movie show. You need time.
We're giving our friends time, but we're connected. I was talking with her the other day.
But and I pretty much just on Instagram, I'm like, LOL. like with Rocky's like rolling around, just like LOL. But
I'm laughing out loud.
We're thinking of you.
But,
guys, check me out, NERDSoul, NERDSoul, everywhere on them streets, youtube.com/NERDSoul. Subscribe, like.
Tell your friends.
You can dislike, but if you do, I'm sending that Ralph against you. And you know what happens.
He's going to wreck it.
There'll be a whole just... You ain't going to be happy. So, from us to you, thanks for checking us out. And hopefully you checked out Wreck-It Ralph and didn't just listen to us because it's a very good movie.
Watch the movie.
But until next time, we're just saying, peace.